Guys, my dog is here with us today. I think she's a little bit thirsty, so I have to give her some water. Hola. Hi guys, welcome back to my life as Roxy. On my channel I post skincare, hair care as well as health and fitness videos, and today's video is a health and fitness video and it is about the painting lifestyle. So I have my bottle of water here. It is extremely hot today, but let's get into the video. So today's video is about the painting diet. When you start the painting diet, you might experience symptoms such as brain fog, dizziness, sore throat. You might also feel irritated. You might experience constipation or diarrhea. So there is a reason for all this, and we are going to get into the video how you can fix it as well as what causes it and what all the symptoms are. So when you are on the painting diet, you might experience some of these symptoms and you might experience carb flu. But before we get deeper into what the remedies are, I want to explain what carb flu is, or what is the carb flu that you experience while you do painting diet. So carb flu is also known as keto flu. It is the body's natural response to carbohydrates restriction. If you embark on a painting journey high in fat and moderate in protein and low in carb, your body burns fatty acids instead of glucose. So before you started your painting journey, your body was used to burning glucose for energy. But now that you are on the painting diet and you consume more fats than carbohydrates, or you try to limit your carbohydrates, your body is forced to burn fatty acids for fuel, or use fatty acids for fuel. While fat is a typical backup fuel source, you will tap into it, and if you have an insufficient glucose, your body that is your body's preferred fuel, you will have to use the fat or tap into the fat as a fuel source. So when this happens, you might experience symptoms, and I'm going to discuss all the symptoms. So if you are feeling a certain type of way, or if you have these symptoms, just know these are the carb flu symptoms that you might be experiencing, and there are easy ways to overcome this carb flu or these symptoms. So what are the symptoms of carb flu? So I'm going to give a picture up on the screen and you can see all the symptoms. If you're not sure whether you're dealing with carb flu at this moment, please see all the symptoms of carb flu. So all the symptoms are brain fog, headache, chills, sore throat, confusion, dizziness, insomnia, irritability, muscle soreness, nausea, poor focus, stomach pains, as well as sugar cravings. Now, sugar cravings is obviously normal, because especially when you have a diet, or before you started painting you had a diet that was filled with sugar, you're obviously going to deal with sugar cravings. It's so normal. Even if you're not following the painting diet and you have another typical healthy lifestyle where you have to cut your sugar, you are going to experience sugar cravings. So let's move on to how long does carb flu last? Now that is a question that a lot of people ask when they deal with carb flu, because it can be very irritating to deal with carb flu. So you want to know, when will this be over? How long will I have to deal with the symptoms? Is it going to go away? What should I do to make it go away? Let's discuss how long does carb flu last. So before we begin on how long carb flu lasts, let's start on when does carb flu symptoms begin? Now, when you change over to your banting diet, you might experience carb flu symptoms 24 or 48 hours after you started banting, or it might be as late as 5 days where you start experiencing symptoms that is related to carb flu. So when does it stop and how long does it last? It can last up to a few days, or it can last up to 2 weeks, or up to a month, or even longer. It all depends on your metabolic flexibility. So I will explain that right now. So what is metabolic flexibility? So I'm going to leave a picture again on screen so that you can follow with me. Metabolic flexibility is influenced by genetics as well as lifestyle habits. For instance, how you ate prior to banting may predict the severity of your flu symptoms. The meaning of metabolic flexibility is your ability to adapt to different fuel sources. Like I said earlier, you're changing over from one fuel source to another. First, you use glycogen as a fuel source, and now you're using fatty acid as a fuel, or using fat as a fuel source. If you ate a diet low in refined sugars and starches, you will likely experience only mild symptoms. So if you ate a diet that was very low in sugar and you didn't really eat a lot of carbs or starchy foods, you might not experience very severe case of carb flu or a lot of symptoms. If you ate a diet high in carbs and sugar, it may cause you to have more severe symptoms. So it basically just depends on your metabolic flexibility, as I've explained earlier. So if you didn't eat a lot of sugary foods as well as a lot of carbs and junk food, I don't think you have to be that worried about experiencing a lot of carb flu symptoms, but you may still experience it even if you had a very low carb intake or a very low sugar intake. So what causes the carb flu? When you restrict carbohydrates, your body must learn to burn its backup energy source. In order to do so, changes happen from a cellular or hormonal level. So what causes these changes? There are two reasons why you might be experiencing carb flu. This is the water and sodium flush. When you consume few carbs, insulin levels drop, signaling your kidney to release sodium from your body. This may cause you losing up to 10 pounds, but this is mainly water weight that you've lost because of the water and sodium flush. So reason number 2 is the thyroid hormonal levels may decrease. T3 thyroid hormonal levels may decrease. So let me explain that a little bit more in detail. T3 is a hormone produced by your thyroid gland. Dietary carbohydrates and thyroid functions are closely connected when you cut carbs. T3 level can reduce when you cut carbs. So this basically also explains why you have these severe symptoms depending on your metabolic flexibility. It also explains why you're dealing with these symptoms. So now let's get into the final part of this video, and how do you deal with carb flu? What can you do to reduce the symptoms, and what remedies at home can you use to remove these symptoms altogether or make the symptoms way more easier to deal with? And the first thing that I want to mention is the water. That's why you always see me with my water bottle. I always drink water because water is extremely important. So when you move over to the banting lifestyle, as I've explained, you will have a loss of water weight because you're going to deal with this water and sodium flush, and you're going to lose a lot of water. And to help with your symptoms, you need to drink water. As I've mentioned, you need to hydrate your body. You can do this by drinking bone broth. Now the reason, point number 2 is bone broth. You need to drink bone broth to help with your symptoms. Now the reason why I'm saying you should drink bone broth is because bone broth contains important electrolytes such as potassium and sodium. I will put a recipe of bone broth, how to prepare bone broth, in my description box, so you can check that out. I'm not going to include it in my video because I don't want to make this video too long, but I will include it in the description box, so please check out the recipe for bone broth. One of the points that I'm also going to mention is using electrolytes. Now I know a lot of people might not agree with me on this, but I'm going to put it out here anyways because I feel it's important to mention all the points and all the things that you can use, and that is electrolytes. Now you get electrolyte recipe. I'm going to pop that on the screen. This is the very same snake juice recipe, but basically it's just electrolyte recipe which contains potassium, sodium, and magnesium, so that you can get your necessary electrolytes. Now it's important for you to, when you're dealing with carb symptoms like dizziness, especially dizziness, you will see when you drink your electrolytes you will feel so much better. Now there is a store-bought option that you can use. You can also buy store-bought electrolytes. Just check your before you buy your electrolytes, check your red list and make sure that your electrolyte does not contain ingredients that you are not allowed to consume while you are on your Banting diet. Now I'm going to pop the recipe on the screen again. This is a recipe that can be used because it doesn't contain any sugar. Now, I know the problem with electrolytes or store-bought electrolytes is a lot of people are afraid that it might contain sugar that you are not allowed to use while on the Banting diet. So that is probably one of the things that you can use. So one of the options that you can also do is eat foods that are high in potassium, high in magnesium, and foods that contain a lot of electrolytes. I'm going to put all the electrolytes on screen as well, so that you can see what electrolytes your body needs in general. So if you can find foods that you can replace instead of using electrolytes, store-bought electrolytes, or using the recipe, you can just basically eat foods that have electrolytes in it. And one of the things that I've also almost forgot to mention is that you can take water with pink salt. Now I personally haven't done this before, but I've seen it has been recommended on the Banting group, so I thought that I might as well put it out there that you can use the pink salt with the water. So we will move on to my last point, and that is to increase your fat intake. So it means you need to eat more fat, and the reason behind this, I'm going to read it to you guys right now. So if you eat more fat, it means that upping your fat consumption can speed up your adaptation phase, and that means if you want to reduce the symptoms, you need to eat more fat in order to get your body fat adapted. So guys, this brings me to the end of my video. I know this video is so long, and I know you guys are probably like, no, this is too long, I can't watch it. But it is for your benefit because I've seen this question multiple times in the Facebook group, and I thought it would be a great video to address this. So guys, thanks for watching, and bye. See you guys again tomorrow.